Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. I'm sure Skylar is somewhere around here. Maybe he stepped away, but when he steps back in, we'll say hello to him. But I just wanted to maximize our time and get us moving forward to the next segment, which I'm glad to be here again. Hey, everyone. Hey, it's good to see you all again. I'm glad to be here again to bring in another guest. It sounds like you guys have been learning a lot from a lot of really cool, interesting people in this course. So I'm happy to bring another guest to the forefront with in content creator 101 conversation. Yulia, you'll be moderating, is that correct? Okay, great. Are you bringing on another guest to join Becca? Or is it just Becca today?
It's just like today.
Awesome. Well, hi, Becca. I'm so glad that you're able to join us. I will give Becca a moment to introduce herself, but I just want to remind you guys that I'm Candace Newman, CEO and founder of Live Out Live, and I'm excited to bring a few industry professionals that I admire and respect to the forefront to share a little bit more about what you guys are already learning here in the Content 101 course and to just kind of elevate the conversation and to learn best practices and tips directly from someone, which again, it sounds like you guys learned just from what I heard from Sebastian and Frankie. So it's good to continue the conversation. And so I'm going to hand it over to Becca so that she can introduce herself. And you and Yulia can kick the conversation off. But thanks so much for being here. And just as a reminder, if you guys don't mind dropping any questions, any feedback to root Becca on in this conversation, but any questions that you might have for her, please drop it into the chat so that as the conversation continues, she can answer them and allow the conversation to flow a little bit better. But thanks so much. I'll hand it over to you, Becca.
Thank you so much, Candace. It's so great to see everybody. My name is Beka Bishop. I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee, but I'm originally from Indiana, and I also lived in Florida for a couple of years. I am a social media and digital marketer. I like to say expert, but sometimes I feel like that's a little too cocky. But I've been doing this for a little while, and it's been kind of fun. I'm also an artist manager, and I also own Phantom Presents, which is a show promotion company in Nashville, and we're also expanding into making that my marketing agency as well. But Phantom Presents, my entire mantra is to bring music back to Music City. Not saying the music isn't here, but I'm really pushing for diversity in the humans who are on stage and also the music because a lot of people think Nashville's just country music. And most of my artists are not country music. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a few questions, and then also if anybody has questions, you can raise your hand and also put in the chat if you're shy, you don't want to ask. So Becca, what's working right now in music marketing to grow an audience? Like what advice would you give artists who are trying to grow their audience, and what is working right now in music marketing?
For sure. I mean, the age-old thing that we've been saying for years is short form content. So your TikToks, your Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, those are doing really well. But a twist on that is not being salesy. So what I've been seeing recently that do well are like performance style videos. And then any type of content that you can make it feel realistic or personal is really important. I've seen a lot of fun like POV style content, super easy to do, and that's how you can connect with your fans and new fans. That's been fun. And then on the flip side of that, long form video is doing really well, but not like music videos or like lyric videos or anything like that. I'm talking like 24-hour plus long live streams. I know we've probably all seen those, but live streams are doing really well too. So it's kind of a fun balance between really short, like 15 to 30-second content and then 24-hour plus content.
Yeah, that definitely because I think in our class, we definitely focus on like short form video content, and then it's like, okay, now go to live stream. And I think that middle space is a little bit harder. I think it's because it's taken up either by more traditional television, traditional streaming, and so
Right.
as content creators, we kind of have, or just content, or just creatives, we're taking it like the extreme. So it's either short form content or the long form content. So I like.
Right. Yeah, I always like to say, like, for anybody who's like a newbie to this, compare it to like books, right? Like, it's super great to like read a paragraph and get the gist of it and go like, cool, I know what the book is about, right? But then you can also read the book in entirety and then go, cool, I know what the book is about. But then when you have like, I don't know if it makes sense, but like somebody breaking down each chapter, those are like the nitty gritty. And sometimes I feel like that's a good comparison for like the middle ground between what we're talking about right now. It feels like sometimes, well, I'll just be honest, people are lazy. And so that middle ground can be really hard to get people to pay attention. But if your specialty or if your passion is that middle ground when it comes to making content, I recommend having some sort of like hub for those people. Um, so that way they're paying for that style of content to get from you. Otherwise, for the general public and social media, it's really good to just kind of stick between either the short form content and the long form content and using both sides to kind of elevate each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. So how do you turn digital attention into real world turnout for live shows? I know you talked about live shows and so how do you take people from watching your short form video clips and then like your long form video clips into like real in-person interaction?
Yeah, it's that's a tricky thing. So I think that's something, great question. I think that's something that we've all in the industry have been trying to figure out as well post pandemic. Things changed a little bit. From my perspective, what's been working for us is incentives. So maybe you have exclusive merch that you can only get at these shows or opportunities that make people get really excited. Maybe you have like a limited amount of shows each year, and so you use digital marketing aspects to promote that. There's an artist here in Nashville that they only do 4 shows a year, basically once a quarter. And so everybody knows and people block out their calendar for that because they market it at the beginning of the year going, hey, these are only 4 shows I'm playing. So if you want to come see me, these are only 4 dates. Which is kind of interesting. But from that flip side, when you're promoting something that you want to be in person, right? The best way to do it is just to get people to connect somehow. So for me, with my artists, that we kind of like to do a style of content that's very direct. So you can run ads if you prefer to do that. Or you can go, hey, Nashville, I'm going to be at so and so venue on this date and specifically target those people. And then from there, the age old super fun thing is personally invite everybody who engages with that post to get them to come to that show. But I would say like the biggest thing is incentives. So if you can partner with a brand to maybe have like, well, for example, I'm doing a show in May with an artist and she's super into permanent jewelry. So we're going to have permanent jewelry at the show, and they're going to be like an exclusive charm that you can get on the bracelet or necklace. And now people want to come just because of a bracelet, but then they get to hear the music too. So kind of making an experience out of it is, I guess, to round that up.
That, thank you. That's really that's true and it's fun because especially
Yeah.
with the pandemic, I think that we all kind of want to connect with each other in person for sure.
Right. Yeah. It's so important, I think, too, to make everything feel like an experience, especially if you're a newer artist or if you're working with an artist who's rebranding or trying something new. Making it feel more than just a show, I think, is super important. But then also not necessarily just relying on posting on stories or feed posts or TikToks or anything like that, and really getting those personal invites. It goes a long way. Not to name drop a good brand, but there's a really great company called Lalo that I've been using recently with clients, and that helps you connect with them for text or email marketing. I'm sure we have all heard of like MailChimp, but I think Lalo is like her cool older sister kind of vibe. So I've been using that a lot, and it's been really helpful to connect with people and kind of give them exclusive content that way as well, and merch discounts and exclusive opportunities to meet the artist. So that's a little tidbit.
You. Thank you. So what do you think is smarter to do to build local momentum first or just focus more solely on social media growth?
Yeah,
Artists are first starting out.
for sure. Yeah, I think the age-old question is how do I make myself go viral? And I like to think backwards because virality doesn't always bring fans. So what my goal is to grow locally, and then expand from there because people talk. If they like what they like, they'll talk to other people, they'll create content, which is super cool. So I always say start locally and expand from there. How do you start locally? Well, obviously there's digital strategy that we can do. You can partner with local brands, you can partner with other artists, producers, yada 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 in your like city and grow from there. But the cool thing about it too is kind of like featuring yourself in different places that make people feel like, oh, this was definitely from Nashville. So that way, you know, anybody visiting your city, if you have like a more touristy city, that's a little bit more helpful. You get a little extra win. But if you're living in a city like where I grew up, small town vibes, the best thing you can do is just connect people locally and start doing specific things for them. And then again, people talk, and that's how you grow your fan base. You create community from that, which is way more important to me personally and professionally than having a video go viral. It feels more longevity purposes, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Next, let me see. I'm trying to some of these questions you already answered. Well, like through our conversation, you've answered. So I'm like trying to. Okay, so what role does storytelling play in building fan connection, and how do you teach that to artists?
Totally. Yeah, I think storytelling is, I mean, why we're here, right? We all fell in love with music for some reason, and it's based off of something that we connected with. So, kind of think of it in that way. So, why did you fall in love with this song? Why did you write this song? Why did you produce this song? Why did you pick this song? Yada, yada, yada. Take that point and then create a story from it. Storytelling is the most important aspect to marketing in general, but specifically with music industry. If you can't tell people why they should care about it, they're not going to care about it. So, for example, maybe your song is a breakup song. You could post like, "Hi, I wrote this song after a breakup, and this made me feel better." Sure, you might get maybe 5 people to go like, "No, that's nice." But if you can talk about the nitty gritty and you feel comfortable doing that, you're going to get a little bit more reaction because that's how you connect with people. So, for example, instead of saying that like short, like, "Hey, I just had a breakup, wrote this song, made me feel better," you could do, you know, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning the other day after a breakup and I'm still just not feeling like super like myself. So I wrote this song to empower you and myself to make myself feel better. And I've been singing it to myself every morning. And this is how I've been feeling recently. That is more connective. And to me, as somebody viewing the content, I'm like, wow, I want to know more. And let me look at this journey. Maybe there's going to be more content about, you know, recovering from this breakup, or maybe there's going to be more content to show growth, or maybe I just liked the song. I'm like, wait, how do I find more music from you? Um, that kind of vibe has really worked. And just considering your why for each video, and considering the why for each song, honestly, too. Who is this for? And kind of milk it from there.
Hey, thank you. And it kind of leads to this question. So how do you define community? So let's say like people are watching your videos because a lot of the platforms are pushing your content to strangers. So how do you then define that community? Because 80 to 90% of the people watching your content have never seen you before. So then how do you capture them? How do you kind of like build that community that you need in this ever-changing short form video algorithm space?
Yeah, for sure. So defining community, there's a difference between views and fans slash community. Somebody who just views your video isn't going to be somebody that necessarily buys a ticket to come see you play or buy merch, right? So when you're looking at your views, you're looking at the people watching your live streams, you can't consider every single one of them fans. Hard truth, so sorry. But I think one thing that I've always considered is like looking at the views, looking at the comments, and looking at who followed from that video. That's a fan, right? Who's always engaging, who's always showing up to your shows, who's creating fan content for you, right? Those are going to be your community aspects. And I hate to say this too, like your friends, your roommates, your family, they can be fans, but don't consider them in that fan section, the community section, because of course they're going to support you. You've got to look at people that you've never met or maybe briefly met at a show and go, oh, wow, like this is a person that resonates with my music. And they're going to be the ones that are like pushing my music to their friends, right? Um, and then kind of answering the third part to that question, um, how do you create the community aspect is just being consistent. So if you're able to constantly talk about your song in a creative way instead of being salesy. I'm sure we've all seen like commercials on TV where we're like, okay, we get it. Where you're selling that sandwich, we got it. And at that point, you're just a little bit bored with it. And honestly, it could even make you not want to even try the sandwich. So kind of think of it from that way. Like if you're constantly pushing your music and going, listen to this, watch this, share this, people are like, okay, we get it. And then you're not really connecting with people. So your community are going to be the ones that connect with you on a deeper level. I have like an internal theory of like calling it like the holy trinity of marketing, if you will. So your top tier is going to be the things that you want people to know most about you. So if you're an artist, that's your music, right? So what story can you tell with your music? That's going to change as you grow, as you write new music, as you release new projects. And you're going to be able to kind of tell the journey through that. The secondary aspect to it is a type of your personality that is a little bit more like widespread. For example, I love dogs. And so I would create content if I wanted to using a dog. So maybe like if I had a pet dog, you could be like, this is, a day in the life of Lulu, and her mom is a, social media marketer, right? And that kind of adds fun personality to it. But then your C level or like the other aspect to it is a type of content that's very niche, right? And so for me, I'm also gluten free. So I would make content about being gluten free, specifically in Nashville. That would be a really niche group of people. And anybody that engages with that video, and engaging is not viewing, engaging is liking, commenting, sharing, messaging you about it, following you, that aspect. I've seen more growth for clients and even myself that way. And then the fun thing too is when you're creating community, you kind of get an easy way of like learning what type of content works for you, and then you can kind of grow from there. So if your videos of like let's just say you do songs I wrote this week, and you do it every single Monday, and you play a chorus and a verse of a song that you wrote the previous week, you're going to be able to connect with people with the consistency of that. But it's also niche, right? Because people are who will watch that video are actually looking for new music, right? But if you do like a day in the lifestyle video, people are going to be trying to figure out what the whole point of that video is. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. You may get a view from that, but you're not maybe not going to get like a community member, a fan, if you will. So kind of think of it in a deeper way of like, okay, who are your favorite artists? Who is your favorite artist? Why did you connect to them? And kind of like see it from there. For example, one of my favorite artists of all time is John Bellion. And the reason why I became a fan of him was because he connected with people via email marketing, and it wasn't gross. It wasn't like the yucky like, hey fan, thanks so much for listening to my music. It was like, hey, I am thinking about dropping this song and I really like it. I would love to know your feedback. Oh, wow, that's crazy. You want to know my feedback? Great. And from there, he's built a fan in me personally and now professionally, and been able to kind of see, I've been able to kind of see artists that kind of think that way excel a lot faster when it comes to building a fan base.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot because we talk about that in class too, where because there is this short form algorithm pushes things, people, content to strangers. And
Right.
so now how do you engage with them? And it's like the engagement is going to happen in the DMs because they
Right.
in the DMs, that's the only way you can really connect on this app where you're guaranteed somebody sees that message back and forth. So thank you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, DMs are great too. Also not to plug, I'm not sponsored by them, but Laylo also has a great feature where if you are going on a tour or releasing any music, you can use the keyword where people can comment something or reply in your story. It could be like song or something like that, and they'll get an instant automatic DM from you that you set up, and it makes it so much easier to start the conversation. Because I'm really big of having conversation. Some of my favorite things too, if there's any artists or songwriters in here that are just looking to start to build a community, my favorite thing that I've done with a client is do an IRL meetup and basically from there create content for it. So almost like a content house without calling it a content house. So having like 3 or 4 artists show up together, songwriters show up together, either write a song or just do a cover that you guys like, and then collab posting on Instagram. And then now, if I'm one of the 4 artists, I have 3 other artists, fan bases that are now knowing who Beka Bishop is. And that's so crucial because maybe there can be some fun crossover, but also at the same time, it's also a great exposure aspect.
Thank you. I like that. That's really good advice.
And it's
Elle,
fun to read in person.
yeah, exactly. Elle, you have a question? Oh, uh-oh.
Yes, I'm sorry. In the car. That was an amazing idea. I'm definitely gonna take that one, Becca. Thank you for the information so far. Hopefully y'all can hear me with these buds in my ear. My question is from a musician live performer aspect, when you're building that audience, how crucial is set location of a performance? And what I mean is consistently performing in the same location every stream, every video, or maybe randomize different locations. Today, this person is in a laundromat. Tomorrow, they're in a Foot Locker or whatever shoe store. Is it better? You see more success with your clients if they're in a consistent studio setup or something like that versus random different locations as far as
Mm,
building an audience and consistent
yeah.
engagement.
Great question. First, I'm going to go back to what is the brand, right? So if you have more of like a fun brand where it's almost spontaneous, then I would say your locations of shows and live streams and content should look a little bit spontaneous. If your branding is a little bit more, I don't want to call it basic, but just professionally respect the word basic, like take it from like a clean girl aesthetic or take it from like a simplistic like I'm an acoustic artist, there's no need for me to have a bunch of pyro and lasers around me, right? It's good to kind of keep it in a simple background. I do believe consistency is key, so there should be some sort of consistency aspect. Maybe you always are with your live stream, you have a mic and you have a handkerchief or a scarf tied to it, or you bedazzled your mic, or maybe you always, if you paint your nails, you always have the same color of nails, or if you wear makeup, you can have like the same color of lipstick or same eye look or same hairstyle, same hat, just something. As you're growing, it's great to have some sort of consistency. One of my favorite examples of that is when Billie Eilish had like the green on her roots. It was very iconic, I feel like. And she started the whole green trend before I think Charlie just took it for Brat Summer. And so the green was very visible. Obviously, Billie Eilish had a fan base already, but to the masses, it was very distinct. It was very consistent. No matter what Billie wore, no matter what Billie did, this was always consistent with her branding. Not saying that you have to dye your roots lime green, but just having something consistent to where people get excited and go, like, for example, Elle, your hat is very iconic. I would say, like, if you can keep that in all of your like videos or live streams or even showcases, that's great. There's artists that always wear a suit and tie when they're on stage. Is that part of their brand? It is now, right? It makes it kind of more fun. Yeah, the crazy hair theory is like very very fun to dive into as well. So what I would say, like, to answer that question on like a branding perspective, is sit down with yourself and look at who you are, look at the artist and go, okay, this is what's going to work. And then from there you got to test try it. I know that sounds a little silly, so you can come up with this brilliant plan and maybe your videos aren't doing as well, but then when you do something almost haphazardly and it does well, we'll take what that video is doing and go, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Another thing I would recommend too is like have a folder on your social media platform of choice and save videos to that. And then every week or so, if you're like me, I do it daily. But look at the consistency of it. Is every single video the person like, waist up, or is it the full body? Is it something where they have like brightly colored clothes? That means naturally those types of videos, the consistent things, are something that you view as important internally, which sounds a little bit psychological, but it is. And you get to kind of see, okay, these are the things that are important to me as an artist, as a brand in general, and I need to implement that into my branding as well because clearly it's important to me. So I know that's like a weird backwards way to kind of answer that question, but I think that the best thing that you can do is figure out what is important to you as a brand, but then also just test try it. Another thing that I'll mention too is if you don't know if something's gonna work, like maybe you're gonna do something absolutely crazy. I don't know. Maybe you do have pyro and lasers. We'll use that as an example. And you're like, I don't know, people are gonna like it. You can always use trial reels. Trial reels will push you out to, I'm sorry, that's on Instagram if you're not familiar. Trial reels will push you out to people who don't follow you. So one, you're expanding your fan base, but two, you're test trying things and learning like what people will like. And I'll be honest, for every video you have, you got to post it like 10 times with different captions for it to start hitting. But it does work. And also too, if you're at a point right now where you're like, okay, my fans are family and friends right now, that's a really, really good way to just start making fans, right? And you might get hate comments. I say as long as the hate comments aren't terrible and you know what I mean, keep them up because a comment is a comment. If it's terrible, please delete it. But if it's just like, I don't like your song, that's not terrible because your music isn't for everybody, right? So kind of take it with like a grain of salt, like what I just said, but definitely test try. I think that's the best way to answer it.
Man, thank you. That was super informative and helpful. I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. Absolutely.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions? I know there's some like comments in here, the crazy hair theory, and then Ron said, I heard a good way to test if your brand looks is iconic is if someone could easily make a Halloween costume or identify it as you.
I love that. I'm a big Halloween girly myself. So great comment. I would also say something that I've learned too of like, is this iconic? Is and this is mostly for visual. It's not necessarily like internal, but if you're walking down the street and people look at you, it's iconic. And they're looking at you because it's different, and that's a good thing. As an artist, as a singer, as a songwriter, anything in between, producer, you are a creative person, and so it is, to me it is important to stand out visually in some way, and it doesn't have to be drastic. Please don't wear a meat dress like Lady Gaga, that's not your brand. But like if you're like, you know what, like I am somebody that really likes to wear like neon sneakers, okay, wear the neon sneakers, that's your brand. And people that like neon sneakers will automatically get attracted to you. And again, going back to that community aspect, boom, that's your community. Your community, your fans aren't the people that are looking at you crazy for wearing neon shoes. They're the ones that are like, oh, I like those. Those are cool. And boom, you have a fan. So kind of take that too. Like look at yourself internally and kind of build off from there. Like, for example, one of my best favorite things, and sorry if you're not a nerd like me, but I always say if you're a Star Wars or a Star Trek fan, there's a big difference, right? You're either Star Wars or you're Star Trek. And it's kind of a good way to think about it when you're developing aspects of your brand. Sometimes there can't be gray area. I've never met anybody in my entire life, and I'm 27 almost. And nobody in my entire life has ever been like, yeah, I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. It's usually one or the other. It's kind of like cats or dogs. So kind of think that when you're developing your brand as well, like which one is it, left or right, right? And figure out which two things are important to you and then move forward with one, right? That is going to be the best way to kind of also develop that community, because the people that really like dogs like you, they're going to come along the journey a little bit quicker. If I'm a cat person and you're a dog person, doesn't mean I'm not going to like you. It just means we're setting a foundation for that like solid internal first round of fans, if you will. People can join after, but set that first solid fan base down and you'll be just fine and dandy.
Thank you. Ron?
Hello, thank you so much, Becca, for all of your experience, advice, and thanks to Candace for getting all of us connected. So I had a question about artist brand evolution, because I see that through the visuals, you've given a lot of good feedback on how we develop that sort of visual brand identity that ties with the narrative of the artist. And I'm curious, what your feedback is to artists who, you know, as an artist, you grow and maybe you want to start changing things. How do you maintain the core of a visual brand while still allowing for room to grow?
I love that question. Long story short is don't be afraid to lose a follower. That I'm going to start with that because if you look at artists who have changed their branding, changed their genres, changed anything about them, there's going to be somebody that doesn't like it, and that's okay. Um, I think to kind of like kindly answer it, that's the best way to say it. But if I'm going to be blunt, like if we were working together, I would
Live
say
that.
do whatever you want. It's your brand. And if you have a team behind you, like for me as an artist manager, as somebody who works on the marketing side, if an artist comes to me, actually, this is a great example. I have a hip hop artist. She is quite popular that I work with right now, and she's going through an entire change. She wants to go into R&B. She wants to change visually how she looks. She wants to tap into like the almost like mob wife aesthetic. And I was like, girl, it's gonna be really hot to wear fur coats in summer, but let's go off. I love it, right? And that's a completely change of um outfit. Well, she's also an actress, but this artist, she also like traditionally would wear more clubby attire, and so this new like more modest aspect to her is gonna make people mad. It's gonna make fans upset because it's not her, but it is her, right? And so just to put it bluntly, I would say if you want something to change about your brand, change it, and that's okay. But if you're going to change it, stick with it. It's not something that you just do for like a month and move on with your life. If it's a change, it needs to be a change. And that's not necessarily like a hair thing, right? If you want to change your hair. But I would say like if you want to change genres, if you want to change the style of posting that you do, you can't just do 3 videos and think, okay, it's not working. I got to change it again. I've met content creators that are outside of the music industry as well who have been posting the same style of posts for years, and it's just now sticking with people, which I think, and please, if anybody knows the accurate number, please correct me. But I was reading an article the other day, and I think if I remember correctly, it's 13 times that somebody has to hear or see something in order for them to actually remember it. So again, sticking with like the changing, like if you're gonna change, commit and just do it wholeheartedly. I'm very excited to hear what these changes are, but like I would say the other thing too is if it's a drastic change, surround yourself with similar artists or content creators, songwriters, anything like that, visually in your posts as well. That's when collab posts will be great, stories will be great, right? Let's just say like you were in country music and now you're in rock music. Well, instead of posting that you're at the farm on your story, maybe let's, at a tattoo shop you're on your story. That fits the narrative. I'm being very stereotypical right now, but just think of it like in that way. Surround yourself and just like commit. There's an artist named Lou, Lew. Her original name is Lauren Watkins, and she was a country artist, and now she is going to be, I think, more like hyper pop, indie rock. I don't know. Super cool. Super rebrand, but that's a great case study if you want to just look at what she's been doing. And she like, I mean, she fully committed. Like she burned her name, which was cool on social media. She had like a big like thing of her name and she burned it. And she was like, just kidding, it's Lou now, which is her initials. So it's very cool. But I would say whatever you do, commit and make it on brand.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was so curious about is like how you as like an artist manager and how the artists themselves sort of prepare for those large changes. Because like you said, it's important, I guess, to commit to those big changes. But once you do, it's like, how do you shift the narrative in a way that like, you know, still communicates that this person is being authentic to themselves?
For sure. Storytelling aspect too. If it's
Mhm.
something crazy, then you could do like almost like a day in the life or get ready with me so people kind of get it. But also you have to repeat yourself a lot on social media. Just because, one video went viral doesn't mean the whole world saw it. It's only 1 million people. There's more people out there, right? So I would say stick to a story and kind of repeat the same phrases. and just take people along the journey and be authentic to yourself. People can tell when you're lying, especially on social media. And so I would say, and I don't know if this is helping at all, but I would say
No,
like
definitely.
even if you're just going through a different style of music, right? People, I mean, our favorite artists, at least mine, they don't sound the same as they did prior. Like, but again, I use, a perfect example, Taylor Swift, right? Started in country, now is like the queen of pop, right? So, obviously people aren't fans of her who were fans of her in country, right? And that's okay, right? But she organically told her story and kept going with that, and she still has a solid fan base. So just take that and keep it close to your heart, and just don't be afraid to lose a follower because it's okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I have one follow-up question as far as like demonstrating that organic journey. I know that a lot of the times when artists rebrand, they'll just take their Instagram, light it on fire, and then now we have the new carousel posts or anything to show this new era, right? And I was wondering, because I think of Doja Cat when I
Great.
that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know your thoughts on if that's a good idea, if the artist should maintain that history so that fans can look back on that growth, kind of like Doechii, or if it is recommended for artists to kind of, scrap that to the side so then the new audience can focus on their new rebrand.
Yeah, great question. I'm gonna be very blunt. Do you have enough people to come to a show if it was just you, nobody else? Could you fill a 150 cap room?
Not yet.
Then leave the journey up, and that's okay. I think leaving the journey up is cool. Doechii, I mean, just did that with YouTube, right? She was showing the artist's way, I think is the book, right? And showed the progress. Nobody was looking at that until she blew up, right? And now we have a cool blueprint where we're like, oh, that catwalk that she does at the Grammy and her performances, that's where she got the idea for it. That's so cool. Now I feel like I'm connected to her on a deeper level. Am I actually connected to her? No, but I feel like I am. And so kind of like give people the opportunity to fall in love with you. I mean, that's the gist of this, right? It's not falling in love with the music, which is kind of crazy to say. It's falling in love with you, because if they love you, they'll love the music. And so kind of just give them enough, and make sure you have balance, and also don't share everything on the internet. If you want to, you can, but I would say maybe don't. And give the people a journey to follow. For me personally, I've fallen in love with artists because they showed me the journey, right? Show me the BTS. How did you create this song? Maybe your thing is live streaming. Live streaming is something I'm personally scared of to do, but I give so much kudos to all my artists because all my artists live stream on Twitch. And I'm like, please keep going. It's great. Or TikTok even. And like just set up your camera and go, you know what? I'm gonna write a song today, and just write a song. And maybe people are watching and you'd be like, hey, what do you think of this line? People are like, oh, I love this line, right? Cool, moving on. So it makes people feel like they're a part of something. And then on the flip side of that too, like when you have like I would say the reason why I ask for 150 is usually like that's my happy sweet spot of like when we have 150 subscribed to like getting texts or emails. I'm like, oh yeah, we're good. With a developing artist, it's just we're like rock solid if we have 150, because those are people that are paying attention. It's enough people to fill up a room. And so when you are able to do like text marketing, email marketing to 150 people, do the math yourself. If they spend $100 on you in a year, 150 people, you might be all right. You might do it all right. You know what I mean? And sometimes they spend more than 100, right? So kind of think of like that too. It seems kind of silly that I'm tapping into other aspects, but I feel like digital marketing is like the best friend to everything in the music industry, right? So like if you're a songwriter, you should be documenting how you wrote songs. If you're an artist, how did you get that sound? Did you open up a highlighter and that's how you got that sound? Okay, cool. I want to know that, right? As a fan, I want to know the nitty gritty. I want to know the story. So going back to like that breakup example that I was saying. So like instead of saying, I wrote this song after a breakup because I was sad. cool. Everybody's sad after a break. Well, most people are sad after a breakup. I want the nitty gritty. Okay. Maybe this is a breakup that you were expecting to happen, but you were just holding on to it. Okay. That's something I can personally relate to. Maybe this breakup is something that came out of nowhere and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Okay. That's something I can relate to, right? You're giving them the details to connect and to fall in love with the story. So that way they want to continue going on with you, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Becca, for being here. Thank you for all of your advice, for
Absolutely.
sharing your knowledge with us. Definitely going in the direction, yeah, that especially with live streaming. I think today was live streaming day, so it was just like perfect to give us this advice because definitely we all need to live stream. Like I always say, like we all need to get on camera, and like that's just gonna have to happen to all of
Right.
us in every aspect. So live streaming is another one that's like, okay, it's a little harder, but we can do it.
Yeah. And don't be afraid of like if you're somebody that wears makeup or like looks a little bit different when they get out of the house, don't be afraid to not look like that on your live streams, by the way. I mean, it is important to look on brand, but like, I mean, I have an artist who her hair is bright purple and she'll go on live streaming and she won't wear any makeup. But when she's out and about, she's wearing a lot of makeup. And that's totally fine because also sometimes people just like to know the real you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Candace. Thank you guys. So before we go, and if you guys need to leave, it's okay. We're just gonna go through, we have a video next week due, so we're just gonna talk about our video. But yes, thank you guys. So everybody, so what videos are we working on this week? So for next week, what videos are you working on? Do you guys have it ready to go? Ready to submit?
I don't have anything ready to go, but what I'm working on is another episode of Music and Moods, and I naturally usually chop those clips down smaller, but I'm actually sitting here as I've been listening, I'm organizing my music library, and I got to my name and I noticed I was like, damn, I have a lot of like mashups and edits that I haven't posted yet. So just kind of doing a series where I'm just posting all of the unreleased like DJ flips and edits I've done. And I already have like ideas of more that I kind of want to do. So I think that's the main thing I'm going to be working on over the next week until next week. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Elle? Elle?
So I'm working on a series that I call streams, where it's connecting the streams of consciousness, but also the streams of time and generation throughout the generations of music. Meaning,
Okay.
you might be a fan of Future. Well, Future has a lot in common with like a Rick James aesthetic or
Mhm.
a artist from another generation who you may or may not have listened to. And it goes beyond just what songs have been sampled. There's always an aesthetic. There's always kind of a character arc that the musicians um, fall under. Like if you like, what's her name? I want to say, is Rico Nash? It might be chopping her
Rico
name.
Nasty.
Nasty, thank you. If you like Rico Nasty, maybe you should listen to Betty Smith. Like it's there are these streams of consciousness that have been going on like throughout modern music. So I have an idea of an episode of that I want to launch next week. So that's what I'll be.
Love that. Okay, that's
They had
so
a scene in Sinners. The movie just
So
came out. Michael B.
so
and Ryan Coogler. They had a scene
so
like
wait,
that.
look,
don't tell us.
when I
Don't
saw
tell
that scene,
I'm
I
not gonna.
almost
I'm not
us.
telling y'all
no,
nothing. But what I'm saying is like,
Don't
I
spoil
if you
it.
almost
haven't
cried.
seen it, you gotta see it because I was just like, oh my god, that
I
literally,
I
yeah.
literally almost cried. I came to tears.
Yeah,
Like
I was like, oh my god,
because,
and it came
for,
out of nowhere.
for one, because I've had this idea for a number of years. I'm like, damn it, damn it, Ryan Coogler, you and your
Rachel,
budget.
it's your
But
turn.
the other thing, I was like, somebody else gets it. Like the connection, it was visceral. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I always say like if it's not on short form, it didn't happen. So there you go. Also, I was gonna say yesterday, often and I we were talking a lot about fragmented music. We're listening to a lot of Marshall McLuhan, and we put Playboy Cardi next at like we played a Playboy Cardi song and we played BB King at the same time and it was like connected. It was so cool. So it was like he talks about like shards of music. I mean, this person already passed away, but he talks about how like the blues was that kind of like when you want to know what the cutting edge is, it's always like the music sounds like it's sharded, like it's like shards of things. Like it's not complete, it's not a complete narrative. It's like, yeah, and it fits so well together. So that's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. I do have a question, and I asked a short form version of this question a couple weeks ago, but because I want to deal with songs that already exist that are already published.
Hmm. Wait, I think you froze. Did I freeze? I think you froze.
You've heard this. It's similar to this.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh wait, you froze a little bit? Can you repeat it?
I'm sorry. What are the parameters I need to look out for if I want to incorporate music from juxtaposing artists?
I think the rule is like 3 seconds. If you're analyzing it for fair use, I think it's like 3 to 4 seconds.
Okay, like half a bar.
You can't do like a long thing unless I think if you do a podcast, I think it's a little different rules for it. But in short form, I think it's like three, especially YouTube, it's like 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah.
Okay,
Good
I can,
question.
I can manage that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Excited to see it. Ron?
Does that also apply to when you're doing a verse over a like audio?
Voiceover audio for like 3 to 4 second video.
No, like if you're doing like your own verse on uh like a audio, because I know that if you have the audio of a track, you're going to have it with the vocals included. So if you end up finding an instrumental online, that's not going to necessarily be tied to the TikTok artist profile or anything like that. So I was just curious if that same rules like applies, like are we going to get slam dunked for that?
I think for the 3 second thing, I think that's what YouTubers use because it has to do with like US copyright law,
Yeah.
in terms of like fair use. So I think TikTok, when they muted everyone's music, that was because they were using like more than 30 seconds. So
Got
so if you're using like 30 seconds to a minute, then that's something different. So yeah.
totally. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I was getting scared.
Yep. Nora?
I was wondering for the homework, two questions actually. How do we submit it? Do we just show it in class?
So I will send you a link to a Google form, and then you just put it in the form, and then I'll just pull it up in class. So
Right.
great question, because if you're not submitting, like let's say you're not posting the video yet, you can just add a Dropbox link. It doesn't like if you don't have to post the video.
Okay, because I was wondering if the video, because I had an idea, because I'm not an artist, I'm mostly into music marketing. So I was thinking of doing a post like, because most of my posts on TikTok are quite aesthetically pleasing, clean girl aesthetic, whatever. So I was thinking of doing one playlist, one vibe. Is it okay if I do a carousel post? Because that's what's been popping off, at least for me, on my feed recently.
Sure, but I prefer if you guys do a video. Do you make videos already or no?
I have made videos for like artists that I've worked with, but for myself, I don't.
Oh, because I want to challenge you guys to make your own videos, to get on camera and like do face on camera.
Oh, I mean, I do that kind of thing, but because my account is mostly of myself, I just things videos, for example.
Because you don't have to post it on your account. You don't have to post it at all. Because you could just send us like a Google Drive or like a
Okay.
Dropbox link. Yeah, I just want to challenge you guys to get on camera and like so I'm discouraging you all to do voiceover videos. I'm discouraging you all to do like yeah, like I want you guys to get on camera. I want you guys to just like make a video on camera, even if it's just you talking to camera and talking about what you do, like like maybe like what you do in class
All
or like
right.
what you do in your career. I just want you guys to like just to like lose that fear kind of thing. Especially if I'm not saying you're scared, but I'm just saying like when I work with people, sometimes there's a fear. Like I was really scared of pointing a camera at myself. It was
Mm-hmm.
scary for me. So it took me like a year to do it. So yeah.
All right.
Mhm. Yeah,
Got
great
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Everybody else have a video? Kara, do you want to talk about your video?
Yeah, it's still the same idea I had from last week, the journey of the going to Paris to watch the K-pop concert. Um, Unfortunately, I haven't done it yet, but I will be this
Or
week.
thank
Yes.
you. Kiev Gigi, what about you?
So I'm releasing a song on April 30th called Glass, and I just filmed a set of content for that where I'm just kind of like asking my community like, hey, what's it like to fall in love, blah blah blah, like stuff like that. And then I tease the song. So I'll either do one of those or I have like another type of video, but it's for my other song called Trapped in a Cage. So I'm gonna do either one of those. But yeah, I'm
Okay,
super excited.
thank you. And then Ron, did you talk about your video yet? I'm not sure if you talked about your video yet.
No, I haven't. Because I'm a little conflicted. I have an artist brand that I developed. However, it was for my band, right? And so my concern was like, okay, do I have a video that centers myself exclusively, or do I band everybody, rally everybody together and do do our content? Normally we end up doing like skit type of videos. Um, and so that was another question I had where I'm like, okay, maybe I want to, if I bring everybody together, maybe we try a different style to push ourselves, see if that works. But quite frankly, out of convenience, it might make more sense just for it to be me, and maybe it's just for my solo Instagram profile. So I have like I'll get it done, but I have a lot of ideas, you know what I mean?
Of course, thank you. Bianca, I know we talked about your video as well.
I'm very conflicted.
Yes, talk about it.
I I mean, you gave me the idea of my top five favorite ring announcers.
Mhm.
I just don't know how to go about it and like create it because like I've never. I mean, I don't. I mean, I've created a video before, but like I need help. So,
You have maybe top two or even just one. Do you have like one, just like one that you love that you're like, yeah,
yeah.
who is that?
I mean, the person who like actually inspired me to be a ring announcer. She's not a ring announcer anymore. Her name is Samantha Urban. She quit, but she's the reason why I even thought about being a WWE ring announcer in the first place. So yeah,
So why did she inspire you? What did she do that inspired you?
I mean, well, she's a woman of color. There's representation there. Um, she's very the way she and the way she announces the superstars is very gives me chills. It's very powerful. She what she does is she creates announcing she announces differently for every superstar and legend.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Hmm. So it's kind of like maybe kind of like when in class when we're breaking down people's like videos and we're like, this is how the video is structured. You're basically breaking down her like structure of how she announces and why. And so maybe you could do this like two type styles. You could be like, this video is for the person's name. If you're not her, please keep scrolling. If you are her, please stay. And then say, you have inspired me. This is why you've inspired me. Da, da, da. And then you just, people are going to stay because they're like, who is this person? Right.
Right.
You do it that way, where you're
Yeah.
like, videos for her. And I love that you do this, this, and that. And I love how you did this and that. So that's like a more like a note video where you're creating a video for her specifically. It's kind of like a dedication. And that's a really cool video. Or you could do a video where you explain to people why you like her. And you're like, I really like this person because she is like this and like that, and she inspired me because of this and this and that. So it's two styles of videos you could do, and it just depends on what you want. What's
Yeah.
for you?
Should I include like a picture of them or I'm not familiar with the green screen thing.
Yeah, so you can do a picture. Do you know how to edit in CapCut at all? No. I think probably I'm trying to see if I can show you. So if you go into you can just record the video straight on camera. You can say
Right.
whatever you need to say.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't say hi, my name is. You just kind of get into it, like straight into the conversation. Like if you say the one about her, this video is for blah, 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 blah. If you're not her, please keep scrolling and then say the message. That's
Okay.
the hook too. Let me see if I can show you. So on TikTok, there is a feature when you are, let me see if I could pull it up here. Let me see. Okay, I don't know if you can see my phone. Dang it. I'm gonna have to probably send you screenshots, but when you're about to record, there's a place called stickers in your TikTok, and then you click on that, and then you can go to where is it? There's like an image. I can send you these screenshots,
Yes.
and then you circle it, and it'll make a sticker. So then that sticker, you can put a picture of her in there, and it'll take out the background, and then it's just her picture there, and it's just her, and you can just talk and then you just show her picture. And I can send you the screenshots and like
Yeah,
the
yeah, please, please. Okay. Okay. I'm still conflicted.
yes, but whatever you're comfortable with.
But I like that
Uh,
idea. I like that idea. Can you drop your email so if I have any
yeah, of course.
questions, I can.
Yes. Luis, you have a question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay, got it.
I'm kind of in like a conflict between like whether if I should like rebrand or not, or just kind of like present it a different way. Because like what I was doing was like guitar covers,
Okay.
but the thing is that like my aesthetic and kind of like my music taste is almost completely different now. So I was thinking of doing like, because I studied like classical guitar and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
before that, I was doing like a lot of like metal covers and rock covers. So I was thinking of like for the video, kind of like rebranding it into like a POV timeline series of like going back in time and doing like duets because I like transcribe guitar solos like or like trumpet solos and stuff like that. I'll transcribe it and kind of like bring some light to like some older artists and just kind of doing like a timeline series and bringing it up to date of the genre. Or because at the time I was playing like a lot of guitar and that was like my focus and stuff like that. So I also got into like producing within like the past year or so. So I was thinking of either like doing like the timeline guitar cover or like producing like behind the scenes type of footage and stuff like that. So it's like I'm kind of like trying to see how I can merge it because what I'm producing is also different from what like I want to cover because it's
Mhm.
like it would be like jazz or like R&B stuff that I do in terms of covers, and then like the producing is like obviously like rap, hip hop, boom bap, stuff like that, and some R&B. So it's like I'm trying to find a way like where I could merge it, or would you recommend I do like separate accounts?
That's a good. I think that if it's still music, I would keep it on, well, this content is already on your page, right? The one that, and then you're trying to make new kind of content.
Yeah, I kind of just like let it in a way die out,
Okay. And
and
this,
so I'm like in the like phase where I'm like, okay, I need like content ideas to where I can kind of bring it back or maybe even restart
Mhm.
and do something entirely different.
Got it. And this is for TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram, but also TikTok. That's kind of why I'm like, should I do like a complete like restructure of it? Or
Um,
like,
if it's Instagram, I would just keep it and see how it and just leave it. If it's TikTok and you don't have a lot of like followers, I would just start a new account for TikTok and then just start because the algorithm probably already clocked you and like kind of started to picture, like develop a picture about you. and like the people that you're targeting. So maybe for TikTok, I would change it. Instagram is not as sophisticated yet, so I would maybe keep it and just change the handle if you want to change the handle. But I would say for TikTok, maybe start a new one. Yeah. And then for the class, are you going to talk to camera or how are you going to do that?
What do you mean for the class?
So for our class, tomorrow or next week, next Tuesday, we're all submitting a video, just sharing like what we learned in class, like using the tactics and like the strategies that we learned in class. And so, do you have a video idea for class that you're sharing with the class next week?
Oh yeah. It was just like kind of doing like a POV timeline going back and doing like some transcribing obviously of like some
Mhm.
jazz solos and stuff like that. Kind of like doing I thought of a caption like POV, you go back in time and do a duet with like John Coltrane or something like that, and transcribe like one of his solos on the trumpet or stuff like that.
That's
So I
really
was just thinking of doing something like that, and then bringing it up to date with like modern jazz artists,
got it. Oh, that's really cool.
and
Okay.
just kind of like yeah, just bringing it back, and then doing that kind of for like other genres too, where I can get something out of it in terms of like guitar playing and stuff like that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, well, we are at 4 o'clock, so I know that we're ready to, everybody can go. If you guys have any questions before, I can stay for a few minutes so that we can talk through anything you have. But if you need to go, please, yeah, I'll see you next week. And then I'll send you guys a link on where to submit your videos. So yes, thank you. And then Christina said, I do social media for business and I can't share those clips, so they are confidential. I don't do videos for myself and I'm comfortable being in front of a camera. I do have some concert videos and use clips. I'm the beginning, but I'm not sure if I want to do a video. Will meet what you're asking for. So for Christina, let's see, do you have okay, and then so Christina, I would say, are you still here? Let me see. Oh yes. I would say if you don't have to post a video, but if you can try to be on camera and maybe explain what you do, because you don't really like maybe just talk on camera and just explain what it is to do social media for your client if you can speak on that. If not, it's okay. Maybe like why you started doing it. Maybe that would be a cool video, but you don't have to post these videos if you don't want to. These are just for class. We're gonna watch them in class, but you don't have to post them at all. I don't know if that helps. And then Denise said, do you have or will you be any general guidelines for the video? Yeah, so just use the strategies we learned in class, and then I hope everyone does face on camera videos. I really want to encourage that because voiceover videos are kind of past like their prime now, and so I really want people to start showing their faces, so just getting used to it. Oh, and we do have a meetup. I forgot to mention that if you guys want to come to that meetup, I will put it in the chat really quickly. It's tomorrow. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you want to hang out and meet other content creators and just chill at IKEA tomorrow at the IKEA cafe, there's a link, and I'm sorry, I hope everybody got it. I'll email it to everyone, but yeah, so if anybody wants to hang out in person in LA or Burbank specifically, yes. Okay, anybody else have other questions? Oh, Denise said, I hope I said your name correctly. Would you share with us general guidelines, what you'd like us to showcase? General. Based on camera, and then you don't have to edit it heavily. It could just be a yapper. You could just yap on camera and just make sure you don't say hi, my name is. Have a good hook. That's it. Those are the only two things that I want you guys to share. 30 seconds to a minute. It depends on what you're talking about. So 30 seconds to a minute is something for that one. Ron said, when are the monthly social media meetups? I can't make it through tomorrow. We're doing another one, so next month, April, May. So May, like the end of May. So yeah, if you can't do it tomorrow, sorry, it was like super last minute. We could do others. Anybody else have questions? Yes.
So your idea for me, hold on. Okay. So your idea for me was to do like a dedication video.
Mhm.
The ring announcer or ring announcers, just two that inspired me.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, and 30 seconds, nothing too
Maybe
fancy.
30 second. Yeah, because you can just talk to camera and have her face on there, like her picture on there, and it could be very simple. If you want it to be intricate, like my videos where you have like a bunch of cuts and all this stuff, you could do that too. But if it's just something
Yeah.
simple, you could do that. Even that kind of content, because the thing is, people are afraid to get on camera. They're not going. So, like people who are doing on camera videos are at the cutting edge of content creation. And so just make sure that you use good hooks and you'll be okay.
Okay, and what can I can also include music, background music that's provided on TikTok.
Yes. Yeah, you can use the music
Okay.
on TikTok and you will be fine. You won't get flagged.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Course. Anybody else have questions? If you don't, and you guys can leave if you want to. You don't have to stay in class. So if you need to leave, it's okay. You don't have to stay. Ron?
Yeah, so I just wanted to actually ask specifically, like, for a artist brand or a social media profile that involves a group, what would your advice, I guess, be on tying everybody together and, I don't know.
That's a good question. So what I'm seeing in social media is the YouTubeification of short form video. And also, but I'm also seeing the fragmentation. Oh God, it's like the fragmentation of social media. So, the Gen Alpha kids are making very different content than millennials and Gen Z. Millennials and Gen Z, especially millennials, very much about storytelling, beginning, middle, and end. It's very like very old school book style content, where Gen Alpha is not. They're making content like often showed me a video. I don't know if you can drop it in the chat often. It's like, I don't know if you guys watched The Last Airbender. It's like Aang having a conversation with a character from, I think it's like a character from what is it, Demon Slayer, having character with Sonic, and they're live streaming, and Aang is talking about how he went on a date with Katara, and it's like super cut, and it's like you have to know what's happening. So it just really, and there's no storyline, it's just jokes. So it's very different. Yeah, oh, you got it there. So I would say maybe make it fun, have a lot of cuts. Maybe I'm trying to think. Um, you could do like content about the band, how the band started, individual like pieces of each person, like maybe content series with each person, because the algorithms do not show your content to your followers anymore. It doesn't matter. Well, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to have continuity. You don't have to have storytelling. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all about just being able to connect with people instantly. So maybe a video from one bandmate might do better than a video from another bandmate. So that's what I would say. So like do like collective videos together and then do individual videos together. That's what, I don't know. Does that help a little bit?
No, I think that helps. Thank you, because I was just, I don't know, I grew up on like O2L and stuff like that. And that was like that was how it used to be done with the millennials, where you just had like each person do a video like one day a week. And things are different now, where it's like, people would look forward to this person, like this Tuesday when this member would like, post or whatever it is. And I just think that now that you don't really have followers, you have strangers watching new content every single time. I was just curious about your thoughts on that. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I was gonna say there's a book that I read and it's really good. It's called The Death and Resurrection Show. It is not available anywhere. You can't buy the book. I have the PDF for it, and it's a very old book. It's from the 1985, and it tells you exactly what the future of social media is. But it's so interesting. So it's basically, it breaks down shamanism and how shamans used to travel around the world into different places. And he traces like shamanism to, I think it was like the circus, to like carnivals, to all these places, and in many ways. And then the last part of the book, I think he talks about like the Beatles and like big bands. And he says, why were they popular, and why were they able to connect with people in a way that most people can't? And so it kind of gives you like a blueprint of how to do that. And I think maybe you should read that book. I really recommend it. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. Hold on, let me find the.
Would love to have the PDF.
I
Um,
literally printed it. It cost like $50 to print, but honestly, it's one of the best books I ever read. And I think that every person should read that book, honestly. Like every person in the music industry should read that book. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? Death and Resurrection. Oh, show. My bad. Let me see if I can find. Is it this one? Hold on. Let me see if it's in here. PDF file. Hold on. Is it this? Please work. Yeah. Okay. I think I found it. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Here it is. I think it's gonna show up. I hope it shows up. Let me know if it works. But yeah, that's a really good book. Like every person in the music, every person in entertainment, period, needs to read this book. It's a textbook. It's an anthropology textbook, basically.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Of course. Any other questions? Anybody else have other questions? Anybody want to tell me, Carolina, Nikki, you want to tell me about your video, Jade?
I think I might do, I mentioned last week, I might do just my vlog from when I went to DC, like maybe like a day of it. And but if I don't like how the edit turns out, I might just do like right now I'm just I really like those type of, those more Asian style videos of like day in the life of an office worker type thing. So I might just do a basic one of that if as a backup if I don't like the DC cut.
Okay, yeah, of course. I mean, you could always do like face on camera and then just just talk about what you love. That's another one. Like I just want you guys to get used to like the talking on camera, so it's up to you.
I have a question. You mentioned that sticker thing,
Yeah.
if in case I want to like do like a green screen. I'm not able to find it on mine. And I just
Okay.
updated TikTok.
Thank you, Jade. And nobody needs to stay behind. You guys can go if you want to. Only if you want to talk to me really quickly. Yes. So let me see if I can pull it up on here. Oh, gosh, okay. I hope I can pull this up. Yes, thank you, Al. Um, okay, so I don't know if you can see my screen. Let me see if I can come into class this way. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Actually, I'm gonna have to send you the screenshots because I cannot figure this out. Hold on. I'll email me and I'll send you the screenshots and I'll do the little circles, the red circles.
Are
And
you available for some sort of an office hours?
do you want to come tomorrow to our meetup and we can talk?
Ew,
What's that?
I'm not able to go.
I'm not sure. I'm trying. No, but I can talk to Skylar and see if we can book something.
Okay, because
Uh,
I'm stressing out about this.
no, you're fine.
Mm.
Let me email me and I'll send you the screenshots and then you
Okay.
can,
Okay.
and then,
Thanks.
yeah, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. And then thanks so much. Another awesome class. Thank you. And then Nikki, can I talk to you about my video when you're done the thing? Okay, yes. Go ahead, Nikki.
Okay, T. So I'm working on kind of rolling out a release for some new music. Definitely a single, maybe like an EP, but definitely I know that I'm recording a music video and like getting my friends to like play some drums and stuff like that. So I was thinking of doing some like process videos of the recording and stuff like that. So I could do like a we're gonna record today, here's how it goes kind of video.
That sounds fun. I like that. So you'll talk to camera and then you'll show us the process. So something like
Yeah, I
that.
think so. Like maybe like kind of half vlog style, half like little clips.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, because you saw Often's video, right? Shamar, did you show it to everyone? The Torosaka video?
Which one?
You there?
Yeah,
Um, did
I
you show it?
did, but the one where we went to Japan and they collaborated with the Osaka rapper. I don't know if she saw it though.
Did you see it?
I
But
can
basically, okay.
I can like go through your Instagram and find it.
It's not up, but basically, it's not up yet. He hasn't posted it, but basically, he just talks to camera. So what we did is the way we shot it is we talked to he talked to camera, and then we went in and just added the clips afterwards. So that's also a good way to do that.
Okay, so it's kind of like talking to the camera and then you like put the clips over yourself.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, sick. Yeah, that sounds like something I could do. Okay,
Yeah, of
cool.
course.
Cool, I'm
Thank you.
excited. Thank you so much for the class.
Of course. Thank you. Anybody else? Kara, do you have anything?
No, I was just kind of staying just in case I got some useful information.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay, no worries. Denise, is it Dennis or Denise?
Dennis, yes. Um, I was wondering if I could have clips or videos of my of like events or opportunities that I've been involved with,
Yeah.
and just explain or showcase what went on in my experience or work opportunities within in with like festivals.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think similar to what with Nikki, it was just like talk straight to camera, say what happened, like narrate it, and then just add in the clips. That's probably because I want to discourage students from doing voiceover content because the influencer, like the more like mainstream influencers have kind of like burnt out that trend. And now when people see voiceover video, they think it's a commercial for an influencer. So we want the way you beat that or the way you like prevent people from thinking it's an ad is you talk straight to camera because the influencers are not going to they're not going to talk straight to camera. So making sure that you talk straight to camera and then just adding the clips in there, kind of taking us on a story, I think is probably a better strategy.
And would you recommend making let's say a second account or whatever or for your Instagram if you're wanting to showcase more of those videos separate from your personal Instagram?
If you want to, if you'd like, honestly, if you don't want to post this video like for class, then you could just send us like the link to like a Google Drive or Dropbox. If you do, like, are you going to post it or not?
No.
No. If you don't want to post it, you don't have to. Like, you just send us the link. When I give you guys the Google form, just put the link in there and then we can watch it in class.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. And then Lucretia, do you have any? Oh, Kara, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I do have a question, I guess. So am I allowed to use like clips of the band's music? I think earlier you said as long as it doesn't go past like a really long length of time.
Yeah, I think so. Because they're your videos, it's fine. It's when you're taking people's content from like, let's say like the label put out a music video and you're just showing the whole music video, then they'll clock it, but it's your clip, your video, you own it. So,
Okay, so that's of the live footage you mean? Like
yeah.
of the concert? But what if it's like a layering over of their actual song?
Then I would do like 2 to 3 seconds, just kind of like clip it through and don't do the whole song, then you'll be fine. Just for the
Oh,
algorithm, not for me, basically.
okay, interesting because I always thought like with people dancing on TikTok, they could be longer than that.
They can. I think it's like 30 seconds, but they're using the sound that's already on TikTok.
Oh, so
You
that's allowed. Yeah.
yeah, well, you probably are you're putting it into the edit, right?
Oh, okay.
A little
I
different.
see. Oh, interesting. So I know nothing about this. I'm like nearly clueless with social media. So so when you use the sound on TikTok, then it's allowed. But if you, for example, were playing a song while you filmed a dance clip or something, then is that not allowed?
I think that is allowed too. I think it's allowed, but it's probably I think what's not allowed, and you might get muted, is if you pull the song, you put it into the edit, like the
Yeah.
actual recording of the song, you put it into the edit, and then you put it underneath the song, and you can still hear that. And then that's categorized as an original sound, but technically it's not because it's somebody, it'll clock that. It'll basically identify like, oh yeah, this is somebody's song, and then it'll identify the song and stuff. That's what they
Okay.
were having issues with it. So the way that you get around that is you use the sound they already have on the platforms. Or you can
Uh,
use the sounds or you can put in edits in there, but just make sure it's not too long.
okay.
Mhm.
So it's just edited. Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Lucretia, are you there? Lucretia? Oh, maybe she's gone. Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. If you can come tomorrow, please come through. But yes, I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye.